And then it's something else when someone is limited or struggling, because it's now a computer-based exam. We understand that some people are transitioning, and we also understand that it's one thing to have written the CBT at level 1, another thing to have written the CBT at level 2, and an entirely different thing in some cases at level 3. And those are the issues we've chosen to address, to look into tonight. And with us tonight are two great people who have agreed to do this with us, and we are more than excited to have them with us. We have Ololade Adebisi, CFA, and Ololade is a corporate finance professional with MTN, and Davis Opabi, CFA, who is a finance analyst with Chevron. So we're excited to have you both tonight. Good evening, Davis, and welcome tonight. You're muted. Okay, good.
Hi, good evening.
Welcome, Davis.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm doing very fine, thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to do this with us. We're excited to have you. All right. Good evening, Lolade.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this with us, and we're excited to have you.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So without wasting time, it's level 3. At level 3, you don't waste time. The stories are not long. Am I correct?
Sure.
I'm expecting that the night to be shorter than when I deal with level 1 and level 2. But again, it's to help solve as many problems as we can from a former candidate perspective and an immediate former candidate perspective, as it were, right, in both cases. So before we go in, just a little bit about yourself, maybe for 2 minutes, if you wouldn't mind. So Lolade, please, if you can, please just a little bit about yourself, your background, and all that. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayo. Okay, so for me, I started Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from University of Lagos, right? And I started my experience in banking for 3 years there, and also been in telco for 3 years. So corporate finance analyst right there, and CFA also helped me and opened opportunities for me in that light. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Lolade. So Davis, let's say, were you first degree accounting as well? You're muted and your video is off.
Yes, I was. Yes, I'm also first degree accounting.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. What else? Started career in banking too?
Yes, I also started my career in banking.
Okay. Yes. Which other one, Lolade? Let me know what it is so I can predict accurately the next one. So.
Okay. Telecom.
Okay. All right. So David, let's go.
Okay. So like Lolade, I have first degree in accounting, and then I started my initial career in banking. Then I moved across a few things in banking before I joined the energy sector. Okay. So I've been in the energy sector for a little over a decade. Okay. Right. Yeah.
At what point did you join the CFA program?
The CFA program?
Yes.
2012. 2012.
That was into your energy years or your banking years?
That was into my banking years. Okay. After joining the CFA program, after I got level 1,
okay,
and then I joined, the energy sector.
Yes.
I abandoned the program for probably 9 years or so.
Okay.
I came back to write level 2, 2021.
Okay.
Level 2, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. So Lola, what was it like for you? Was it a sprint or a marathon?
Yeah, it was a marathon. I started in 20. Was it 2018 or 2019? I can't remember.
It's good. You say it's good when you have ended the chapter. You don't even want to remember when you started, right?
I think 2019. Yes, 2019.
All right.
I started 2019.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So 2019 and till 2022 last year, right? Was it last year? You ended your chapter last year?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
All right. Yeah. So congratulations is still appropriate. So I'm sure the same with Davis as well. Okay. So level 3. What was taken? Let's talk about level 3. Let's talk about the program first, then we'll come back to CBT. What was taking level 3 like for you? So there are all kinds of people in the CFA program. There is somebody who would have an accounting background like you. Some will have a finance background. Some would probably have worked in investment banking even before starting their program. Like somebody once said, the CFA program is the only one where you join with a PhD and you never get an exemption. You start from level 1, right? It's so there are all kinds. So level 3? It's always a different ball game, right? For people, if whatever it is you experience in level 1, level 2, level 3, level 3 is always a different ball game. So what would you say what was your experience with level 3? You can't say everything, but then what are your biggest memories, if you would? Just the program, not the CBT exam itself now. Davis, you want to go first?
Okay, so in terms of my biggest memory with level 3, I think my biggest memory with level 3 before the exam itself would be how because I was a student with New Frontiers, and my biggest memory would be how I kept on, trying to reassess my timetable, given that we had like 1 or 2 students in the class who had already completed the entire curriculum even before joining the New Frontiers class. And I kept on asking myself, I hope these guys are going to give us the opportunity to be able to ask our questions, It came to a time where we felt, we were behind, we were lagging behind in the timetable, but these guys were just comfortable, and so I had to voice out. That was my biggest memory, and I'm sure you remember that period very well.
I do remember very well. just so the teachers don't assume everybody are like these two. These two are in a world of their own. The rest of us are not like them. Let's just get it clear. All right. Thank you, David. That was cool. So Lolade, what was it like for you preparing for level 3, taking the level 3 exams?
Okay, so for me, level 3 was I was really scared about it. So I was scared about it because it was theory, right? And it's not like objective where I could I would eliminate. You can't really eliminate though, but at least it gave better chances. Theory, you don't know it, you don't know it. So I was really worried and scared about it. I think so the fear consumed me really, really. So like it was not funny because preparing for it forced me to write an exam I was not prepared for. Right. And because I okay, that's for preparing. I will talk about that, talk about the CBT and everything. So but preparing, I think the most important thing was fear for me and how I learned that. Anyway, I learned in retrospect that you must learn how to deal with the fear so that it doesn't consume you and deter you from actually preparing, because it's an exam of stamina and strength. You need to be able to have stamina to actually even write the exam, because reading is different from writing the exam. So I was able to take that as my biggest, at least for the first time. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So very interesting memories there, and I believe, like I tell candidates, that I think what New Frontiers sell is that the exams are already challenging, so why complicate the process? And when you talk about complicating the process, it's beyond just reading for the exams. There's a whole lot that goes on. Like we say in the office, if when you see a student in class, when you see a candidate in class, who has come to sign up at New Frontiers, there's a lot of sacrifices that person has made. A lot of things have been put on the shelf just to come, take the exams, pass the exams, write the exams, right? And all these things will form significant memories, for them during the course of their stay with us. So we always talk about how we can make the experience a memorable one for them. We can't take the exams for them. We can do every other thing, but take the exams for them. So why not make the journey a very exciting one for them, and hopefully they can get the best from it at the first stab. But then that's the exam. The exam is the exam. We can talk from now till tomorrow. The CFA exam is the exam. In fact, like someone said, when you see someone with those 3 letters behind their name, it doesn't matter what you feel about it. It's not an exam that can be rigged, right? For lack of a better word. Then the person has actually paid his dues to earn the CFA charter. So whether you want to say the person got passed miraculously or passed mysteriously, or he read, or the person passed at first sitting, or after 10 times, when you see those 3 letters at the back of someone's name, because of the way the exam is structured, right? That person has paid his dues. That person has been certified, by the highest body globally to say this person can handle other people's money, can manage people's investments, right? Ethically and professionally. That's essentially what it is. So you can't take that away, from a charter holder. But then the exam itself, I interacted with somebody who told me sometime last year that she didn't pass this exam, this level 3 exam, not because she didn't know it, but the CBT was messed her up. And, it never, it didn't, there is a way you can go into the exams, assuming that because you use a PC every day at work, right, that you are going to slam this CBT, especially if you are coming from the paper-based world. So, Lolade, you were paper-based before you ever took any paper-based?
I took paper. Yeah, I took paper. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Apologies, please. Things network.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So I was saying you were paper-based at some point, right?
Yes, I was.
Level, what was it?
Level 1 to 3 actually.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote level 3 paper and level 3 CBT.
Excellent. As much as so I mean it's good that you can speak to this. So paper-based level 3, paper-based level 2. As much as I would have wanted you to pass at once, but again, it's good for tonight. Really, we can use it, right? Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you took paper-based at level. Let's talk about level 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can't talk about level 1 to 3 because you didn't take CBT 1 and 2, right? Let's talk about the transition from level 3 paper-based to level 3 computer-based. Just tell me your experience.
Okay, so I think when I was speaking to you earlier, I mentioned that, so I'll just take the story from there.
Please.
I was not prepared. I think it was December 2020, COVID year. I was prepared preparing. I was supposed to write June. We're supposed to write June, right?
Hear.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear. Is it just me? Or this is probably just me.
I can hear you, Lolade.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear now. Forgive me, please.
Okay. So I was supposed to write June, right? But COVID happened. So that shift, we got the lazy feeling vibe. I just lost my reading book. So eventually they kept moving it. Then it was time to write it in December. So they gave us time to postpone it, right? And I was like, if I postpone this exam, can I write CBT? So in my own history, the only exam I passed was CBT, right? Was my entry level into the bank. Every other exam CBT, I don't pass it. I don't do well in it. So I was like, Lolade, you can't do this exam with CBT, CFP. It's not, it's even job. I've been doing job, you didn't pass it. Now it's CFP you want to pass. I said, no matter what, if I'm ready, I'm not ready. I'll write this exam. This is the final paper, and I'll write it and I'll pass it. I was just telling myself. I was now struggling to read, trying to catch up in time. I went to write the exam, right? I knew I was not fully ready. I was like, can't write CBT. Maybe if I don't write it now, I may never pass it in CBT. At least let me try it here. So, so the fear was there, right? Because the curriculum was the same, right? But I didn't want to write CBT because honestly, I had a history. My history was there. It proved the point to me. There was fear already building up. Then it's already an exam. So I had all those things. I was like, I needed to write this exam and move on with my life. So on the day of the exam, right, I'd done mocks. I prepared for it. I'd done mocks, right? I learned how to, because everybody told me you must do mock to enter that exam mode because it's theory, right? It's quite different. So I'd done mocks. So on the exam day, I went into the exam, right? And I did the exam. And for some weird reason, I don't think I've told people this story. For some weird reasons, level paper based usually is 8 to 10 questions. So for some weird reason, I just flipped my paper. I got to number 10. I was like, oh, end. And I went back to the beginning. And I mean, because the method I use is brush as the ones answer as much as possible. Get it there, they can now restart, then start wasting some time or trying to reflect. But the ones that are easy, people deal with them. So I went over. So when I came back the second time, mine was 30 minutes because then we used to put the paper, move the paper that when it's 2 hours, landmark timelines, they'll be moving that paper in front of everybody. So when it was time to 30 minutes, I've gotten to number 10. I was so fast. I was like, how did I even do this exam in 30? I just flipped. I saw 11.
Oh, I can't hear.
Flipped. I saw 12. I flipped. I saw 13. 20,000. Sorry.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I got the call. I don't know if it was at this moment you realized she failed. That was it for me. I just realized at that moment I failed that exam. Because I don't know if you know the waiting for level 3, it was private wealth. Then private wealth was heavy. Right? Not answering any private wealth question. I was not going anywhere. I knew. So I was really distraught because I knew that it was fear that pushed me to write the exam in the first place because of fear of CBT. And I like, eventually going to write the CBT that we were running from. So, so when it was time, I struggled with that. So I realized that, okay, this second one we're going to write it, we're going to pass it because I don't know, it was my first time failing and first time failing CFA. Failing it is very difficult because it's difficult to override that fear that, what did I do different? It's even worse, especially if you read. Be like, what can I do that I didn't do the last time? That thing. So trying to do the CBT. So I read the book again. So for the CBT, I did mocks again, right? I make sure I read, because I even did mocks with computer just to deal with that fear. I took computer in front of me, did mocks with it, right? And I prepared for it. I told myself the same method, go through everything at once. The ones you can do at the clip of the finger that is easy and fast to do it, then you come back again. But make sure, since it's CBT, don't click submit. I had to tell myself it's a mantra, don't click submit. Don't click submit. Just triggers here and there to always remind yourself to prevent mistakes, repeated mistake in the mock. I said, Loyalty, you've done this, don't do this, those things just helped me, put me in that mood. Because anytime it wants to happen, I'm triggered again. There's a feeling that it should not happen again or reoccur. So I went, I read CFA that time because that was like the responsibility. Put out things there to help you understand how CBT works, right? When I went through it, they told me that the vignette, the comprehension be on the page. I'll be seeing the questions on the other side. So I was like, okay, good. I can see the passage. I can see the question. It's not that bad. It's the same thing as paper. You know, the paper, you have seen the question, you are flipping to the question, you see pointers, and you answer. You know, so that was the fear with CBT, that you can't see it at once. I was like, oh, great, I get to see it at once. It's still going to work. You know? I was telling myself, encouraging myself that we're going to do well in this exam. So only for me to get to the exam, I got there. Number one, they say you should not be prepared. They, you know, because before, before in level 3 paper, because there's place for work, you can even work on your, sorry about that, you can. So I knew, right, only to get to the exam, they gave me perforated, laminated paper that we should solve question. They gave me marker. I was like, guys, what's going on? I need paper. Please, can someone tell me what is going on here? Please give me paper. They literally gave me, I don't know if you know laminated paper, how you laminate your certificate going up. You literally is not, you cannot write on it.
Yeah.
That is what they gave me on the exam. I was like, are you people joking here? I was like, okay, we're here to write the exam. Let's just focus. I was like, if I write in second time, let's just pray and hope everything. Because, you know, I don't know, but CFA the exam that tests your stamina. So if things come, you need to be able to stand up to say, okay, I'm still okay. I'm still fine. I just don't, I'm fine. This will not disturb me. Then after the exam, they did not put the questions side by side. You have to minimize it when I read the question, open the passage again. I was just, for like 5 minutes, then the first 2 questions, I did not know it. I was like this in the exam. Like I've not had to bend down and pray in an exam, but that one I bent my head down and said, Lord, please help me. I'm a Christian, so I just had to bend my head down and say, Lord, please help me. Because it threw me off. 2 things. I don't know if you understand. You know, sometimes answers are in questions. So if you have to be minimizing, opening, you don't, that's back and forth. You lose track.
Yeah.
I just thought, please help me. I just, okay, it's fine. The first 3, I didn't know it. I said, remember your strategy. You don't know it, move. So I moved, continued moving. And funny enough, I got to the easier questions at the end. I remember my last question was so simple. And if I'd wasted time at the beginning, I would have lost at the end. Because they are one point.
Yeah.
It's still the same all of them carry. So those things are just there to deter me and hold me and delay me so that I will not get to those easy at the back. So eventually, I finished. I came back the second time. Second time, when I came back to that those first 2 questions that disturbed me, it was simple because I had time now to look at it well. So that's one strategy that worked out for me, right? And to be calm, like when there's something, it doesn't work out the way you want it to work, just calm down. If you're a Muslim, pray. If you're a Christian, pray. Just take a deep breath and everything becomes easier. If you don't know it, move right and come back to it. Usually the second time, questions become clearer. I tell you for a fact, right? They become so clear. You're like, how did I miss this the first time? So another thing I was about for the answering of the questions there was, starting to answer questions is, I think one thing I learned from the first CBT was not too much story. I don't know if you've written more, you see long answers, right? But I learned that sentence is all you need because you're even literally typing. And CBT is not your laptop kind of CBT. I don't know, maybe they've changed it. When I was there, it's all this keypad monitor. I can't remember last I used that, you know. So the keypads were not easy to punch. I don't know if for you it was, but because they are bulky and they are together. It's not like your laptop that are flat and sad.
Oh, good.
I literally gave CFA one-liner answer all my questions. When I came the second time, I was not trying to flesh it up. Maybe I remember one key pointer, I will just add it. So I think that put it off from me. I saw it took more time, but that was like I had to put. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Olade. And no, you didn't take much time. I mean, this is why we are here. typically there are a number of things we do when we hold sessions like this. I told Obafemi we would scrap some things just to allow you to talk. It's level 3, and a number of people on this call are level 3 candidates, right? So it's fine. Tonight is the night. If you have not told this story anywhere since you wrote your exams, then we want to hear them tonight. I'm not sure you've gone into this much details here, so we would rather have them for those who have it. And before I move on, thank you very much, Lolade. Very generous. Thank you so much. Now, before I move to Davis, right? So I do this to be sure my audience is with me. So, guys, if you were listening, I need you to start typing in that chat section, that chat area, the things Lolade mentioned that were useful for you. I need to know that value is being added, right? Before I can move on to Davis. I usually do this just to be sure that the audience is following. And if what is good for you is you can unmute yourself and speak. I just need to know that you picked. I was taking notes myself. I need to be sure. So guys, let's do this in 2 minutes. Lolade mentioned a few things. One of them she talked about that is now clear to everybody is the keypad issue. The keypad issue. Those keypad issues, please go to Otigba and buy. I don't know if you know Otigba. Otigba is Computer Village. Go and buy keyboard. You can't put in all these efforts and keypad to be messing you up, please. You have to. And all this practicing on your PC is beautiful. On your laptop is lovely, but the experience is not the same. Linda says, be calm in every situation. Thank you, Linda. Lamide says, short answers, one line. Thank you. But Lamide, please let me add. She said she wrote the one line to breeze through. She came back to flesh it up, right? Am I correct, Lalade? I'm speaking your mind? Okay.
Oh, yes, I did. You start with the base, then you can do from there.
Excellent. Lamde says you got that too. Thank you. Okay. So then Uche says, moving on, when you don't understand the question, absolutely. She says when you come back to it, you'll be shocked, you know, that you actually missed out some things on the question itself. Okay, if you don't know the answer, move on and come back. Attending to the questions that you understand well first before taking time to answer the rest later, yes. You skip the questions you don't know and come, yes. Skip questions you don't know how to save, yes. Not getting hung up on questions that are not clear at the moment. True. Stay calm. Let's resolve these keypad issues if you can by practicing the hard way, the difficult way. Then you move on if you have any questions, concern, and pray if you need help. Pray. All right. Thank you very much, Lorna. So, Davis, your turn. Now, but there's a twist to your question. So before you tell me about level 3, you took level 2 CBT, unlike Lolade. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Good. So help me answer this one first, then you can go do what Lolade did. Now, tell me, between level 2 and level 3 CBT, any major difference? So because some people are only banking on the experience they've had with level 2 exams, and it's good, but it's not good enough. It's better to listen to someone who has done level 3 before, which is why we are all in this room tonight. So tell me, any difference, 2 and 3?
Well, I think aside from the difference, from the fact that you have to probably type in your answers, there's little much difference between level 2 and level 3. For me, that's the most important difference between the two. Okay,
excellent. So level 3, let's do what I'm sure you have your answers as well, just like Lola did. So tell me the level 3 CBT now.
Yeah. Okay, so for level 3 CBT, like Lolade has said, in fact, she seemed to speak my mind on a lot of things, right? Oh my goodness! Please apologize for this.
It's fine.
Okay, you can see now. Sorry. Just to mention that when I walked into the CBT, and I probably, first of all, please, if you think you can go to the CFA exam feeling hungry, please, I'll advise you that you take some breakfast before you start the exam. Okay, that's very, very key, so that you don't, so that your mental fitness is intact. That's very key. I think 20 minutes into the exam. So typically, what I do is, because there are some formulas that you will need to remember, what I do when I want to write my CFA exams, once I sit down and they give me this so-called sheet of paper or laminated, whatever you call it, I just begin to jot down 1 or 2 formulas that I might likely forget. Sometimes you will be in an exam, condition whereby to even spell cats, C-A-T, cat, you're like, is it K-A-T? I think C-T-T. So just for those specific reasons, right? Yeah. Furiously, I just scribbled down 1 or 2 of my answers for my 4 minutes down. When I was going out, when around 15, 20 minutes into it, I decided to just go use the gents, and I saw probably what I felt were these day newspaper editors or Guardian, people who were kind of writing almost like pages and pages of answers, right? So as Lola said, just a single line, please just keep to 1 line. I mean, as much as possible. If, for instance, CFA asks you, give us 2 reasons why this and this is that, and you're probably switching between 3 different, you're not sure which of these 3 which 2 out of these 3 should I put. You can scribble the 2 in one, reason, and just go ahead, so that you have all the 3 reasons captured in your answer. I mean, they will go ahead and mark you. Okay. The other thing is that yes, like Lade said, the A4 paper is that's the laminated paper. Is very, very strange, for such an exam, but that's what it is. So you just have to make do. At least you know that that's what you expect to see. So again, be bold for answers that you don't know. But during my exams, I boldly skipped 4 questions out of 44, right? I think there are the vignettes are about 11 with 4 questions apiece, right? Just skip. But you need to know when you're skipping, right? You need to have in your mind, what is the threshold? What is that number of questions that you skip before you begin to get worried of failure? So you need to have that in mind. So you don't just skip, right? You need to tell yourself, okay, based on what I've heard, skipping 10 questions, not too bad, 15. But please, that means that you have to be prepared. Guys, please, you need to be very prepared for CFA exam, so that you don't go and skip so much. When you skip, then you can come back. The essence of skipping is so that you can attend more familiar questions in a very short time, so that you now have enough time to attend to those questions that you skipped. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I see Wanola says, we were given regular A4 paper when I sat in February. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Sure. I mean, when things happen like this, is to prepare worst case scenario so that you are not surprised. I mean, I think that would be the advice tonight. Okay, then. So thank you very much, David. So this level 3 thing, and I see some of the things David have mentioned are pretty much things around things that Lolade didn't mention. So he agrees with everything Lolade had earlier said, and things he didn't mention. So he talked about food, talked about your breakfast, he talked about not going into that exam, not it's a tiring exam. It's an exam that is mentally demanding. So you want to be sure that you have sufficient nutrient in your system to carry you through. And this skipping threshold thing that he mentioned. So you must know how much of questions you can stay away from, and still pass the exams without being worried. But then he also mentioned of how when he was taking a bathroom break, saw people writing entire epistles. And typically, how when you're writing an exam, it's possible for a candidate who hasn't belonged to a network like this one that New Frontiers is or provides, it's easy to assume that the more you write, the better for you. But now you can hear from folks who have written and passed one line, and just a little explanation if you have to, but one line as easily, will get you success in your exams. Now, let's talk about this laminated paper stuff. So you wrote in 2022 or 21? 21, yes. 21, good. Okay, so someone says in 23 that there was regular A4 paper when I sat in February. That's what Wonola says. So in the spirit of preparing, I don't know, is there any other person on this call who are taking the exams recently and also got A4 papers, just to be sure that this wasn't a center thing, that was just one-off, where there were no laminated sheets and all that, so they may deal with A4 papers. Is there another person? Or has anyone had anyone else's experiences say it was A4 papers and all? Okay, someone says, I wrote the same 2022 exam, which is 2022, and got laminated paper. Okay, laminated paper. Wonola was 23 February. Okay, and I think that's been the only exam that's been written before now. Okay, so in the US, they use the same laminated sheets, Linda says. They are called scratch pads. Okay. However, we complained and got A4 paper and pens. Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. And that's CFA candidates complain. I know that there's this, I remember the other day somebody was talking about the proctors. I was like, in that all they are gods. You pay whatever they ask you to do and all that. Okay, it's interesting. So I also see that, okay, Wonola says I got A4 in paper in 2022 for level 2. Okay, but again, that's fine. I'm just asking. Okay, Odoayo says A4 papers, August 2022. Thank you. So I'm just asking, just to be sure that this is not a one-off. When it comes to preparation, the same way we have talked about the keyboard and how those keypads on those keyboards are, just almost impossible or a bit difficult. You pretty much, you can't put in this much work and be messed up by keypads. The same way I'm trying to get to the end of this laminated paper matter, so that if you have to practice on laminated papers, you don't have anything to lose. To be honest, I don't know. Davis, what do you think? It's just
Well, there's nothing I can really add. I think it is choice. It's not the only one. I mean, if you want to practice the laminated paper, I think it's your choice. Maybe something you want to do the week before exam or the week on, the exam week that I really did not have any recommendation.
Okay, thank you so much. So so it's cool. At the end of the day, we passed the exam. So thank you for these questions. And for our audience, guys, I'll start taking your questions very, very soon. I'm getting to the end of this interview now. Now, I want to ask you, Davis, then Lolade, we've talked about the changes between level 1, 2, and 3, for you that took 2 and 3 as CBT, and for Lolade who transitioned directly paper to CBT for level 3. I want to ask, this one is not about the CBT. This one is about the exams. When a candidate, so Lolade, you talked about it 2 times. You took level 3 twice, right? Yes. So, and Davis, so let me ask you. So the question is this. When it comes to level 3, 2 things. Number 1, let's talk about the preparation for the exams. What would you say I know there is no one straight jacket. There's no one thing fits all. No. But then it will be good to know if there is something you have found from your story, from the story of other candidates and other charter others you've interacted with, something that is like a common denominator when it comes to preparation, optimal strategy for preparing for level 3. Because I believe it's one game in level 1, it's a different game in level 2. If Lolade, if you were constantly afraid, then it must mean that there was something about level 3 that made it different from the other levels, right? So what would you say today to be optimal strategy for preparation at level 3? Any of you can go first. Please not CBT now, just the exam.
No, Davis can go ahead the question. It's fine.
Okay.
Optimal preparation strategy. Well, what I first of all say is that for those who are working, you need to really structure your leave, because you would need time, just before the exam to read very, very well. They need to be familiar with the curriculum. Some people read stressor and pass. Some people read the curriculum. Some people do both, right? But the underpinning denominator is you must get familiar with the curriculum. The way I went about mine, so probably I just tell you how and probably can pick, because I passed level 2 in August, and then I wrote level 3 in November, so I had just about 3 months or so, or 4. What I did was, before I started, because I knew that if I were going to pass in August, I would write November. I got in touch with 1 or 2 friends and asked them if they had the materials for level 3. I was able to lay my hands on 2. So I just skimmed and scanned, I just read so quickly, those 2 materials that they gave me. I think one was on private wealth management, the other one was on institutional investors. I just read it, just not to really read and understand, but just to be familiar with the content. And after I did that, then I registered for my exam came out, I passed, and then I registered. And so I felt, okay, I have just a few months. I need to get, like a tutorial class, So I got in touch with New Frontiers, because I also did New Frontiers for level 2, right? And so I got a timetable, and I asked myself, based on the way I've scheduled my program for the year, will I have the time? And of course, your health, you need to consider your health as well. Will I have the time to pull this through, right? For me, it was a yes. It was a yes. I was willing to sacrifice, given that, I'm getting old. The first time I took the one was 2012. I didn't want to, waste so much time. And with New Frontiers, the tutors are very, very helpful. I realized that pick up your phone anytime you have any questions. Pick up your phone anytime you have any questions. Call the tutors. Those guys are willing to help. Just pick up your phone. Don't wait till there's a time for class. Many of them are happy when you call them and chat them up. So that's what I did. I looked at the 10 areas and I felt, okay, there were 1 or 2 areas that I felt, I might not really focus please don't, I'm not saying that my strategy is the best, please. So I'm just telling you what I did. I think out of 10 project areas, I just focused on 8, I think, right? The last 2, they were a little technical. So I decided that I was going to leave them till the month of exam. In any case, if I was so comfortable to the point that I can get 100 in this 8, there's no how I will not pass the exam. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. I'm sure the network.
Can you hear me, please?
I'm sure the next.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, but I think.
Okay. Because I suddenly got. Yes.
Your video is frozen. Right. Turn it off and turn it on again.
Yes, my video is frozen. I can see. So let me just go on, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So let me just go on. So I read the material.
No, I can't hear. No, I can't hear. Okay, I don't know. Oh, this is out. Okay, hopefully we'll reconnect in a moment. Okay, but then Lolade, we could as well just start with you. Optimal preparation strategy.
Okay, so I've never been one to gamble. So I don't know how to say, take 8 courses. And I think I told you about how I prepared and the first time I failed it, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not prepared adequately, I don't have that confidence for me. I just feel it's things I don't read, they'll just load me questions on. That's just my own. So I prepare, I read as much as possible, right? Cover a lot of things. The only thing I know I do is I don't use a lot of materials. I just feel it's too chaotic for me. I can't do a lot. So for like the only thing I do is that for courses that are not so heavy, like lower weighted courses, after attending, when it's time to prepare, like you said, taking your leave, I use Schweizer to revise, use my notes from class and Schweizer to revise. Make sure end of chapter questions in curriculum, I finish everything, both light courses and heavy courses. I finish all the end of chapter questions in the curriculum. The good thing about the curriculum is they have the summary page, right? Summary page and end of chapter question. So I do the summary, and sometimes I can try to say, from top of my head, this is what they're trying to say. I know the objectives, right, from all of those things. Then do the end of chapter. So the thing is, I don't do the end of chapter when I've read it. So I give it time, because recency bias, you just read it, you can be able to answer. So I give it space. You read it like last week or 2 weeks, in fact, 2 weeks. Then do questions maybe 2 weeks after, right? It just makes you feel like, and it gives you confidence, right? Like, this question. And sometimes if you don't get it well enough, you are just there, go to summary page or just somewhere, or your note that you scribble down and revise, right? That's how it is for me, right? So I believe in curriculum. I use curriculum, Schweizer for lower weighted courses revision, and my class notes. Simple. Most importantly, right, mocks. I think that's one thing you really need to do. It puts you in the exam mood. That tension, if it's as much as possible, put yourself in that tension mode. Not tension mode, close everywhere, focus. Because most times when you have done it over and over, when you are in the exam, you don't have much butterflies in your stomach. I do get butterflies, right? Before I start every exam, I have stomachache. I don't know. So I'm sure some people are like that, right? Before I start every exam, I have stomachache, blank out. But I just tell myself that I've done the work, and the work will tell for me, and it will pay off, So mock is very important. You need to put yourself in that exam. And I think that's what I can remember. So Davis is back. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just quickly. Yes. Thanks, Lolade, for that as well. So as I was saying, the month of the exam. So like Lolade has said, for me, I read the curriculum. I was only highlighting the things I needed. Then the next pass, I would then reduce the content of my highlighting until I felt that I had shrunk the CFA curriculum to like 20% of the material, so that I only ended up having to read, just the highlighted stuff, which was about 20%. I also kind of solved the end of chapter questions. I think I did that probably, months before the exam. Because of recency bias, just as Lolade has said, and the fact that sometimes you might just have this confidence that, okay, I'm going to what next. I decided to attempt the candidate resources. Reading. I spent the 2 weeks before exam solving candidate resources. I can say that in that 2 weeks, I solved over, I think I solved, I counted that 880 something questions. I finished everything on all but this. There were 2 readings that I felt there's no need to spend your time on, just go to the exam, or once you are very conversant, with this other 8, you are so sure. So on the exam day, it was the questions relating to these ones that I just skipped, and that's how I just found myself. And I was only giving one-line answers. In fact, for the formulas where they asked us to compute, I only put the answer 2.5. Right. Some people would go ahead and try to prove to CFA that they know the formula, type it. I mean, it's difficult to actually type that in, on a computer, right? It was after I finished, I had like almost 30 minutes, I think 15, minutes left. Then I began, as Lolade said, began to flesh in those things. The way I've put this answer just like this 2.5. Let me see if I can flesh, add some things more. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you, David. So let me ask the audience, guys. Do you want to know those 2 readings David have been talking about since, or should we not talk about it? If you want, I'll make him talk about it. If you don't want, then we won't talk about it. We won't even mention it, because I know there's someone say, "Hey, don't say it though." If you say it now, I'll probably go and think the same way. Say it. I want to know. So I need to know. Do you want to say it? And I'm not starting the poll. So just yes, no. I will know what to do. Okay, but then it's no big deal, is it? I think that that's these guys are never wasting time. Ideally says, let him tell us to help with our prep too. Okay, ideally it's only you. I need to be sure that let me get more people saying so. Otherwise, I will DM it to you privately so that I won't tell the others if they don't want to hear. Okay, so but it's pretty interesting, and I think that
Excuse me.
Oh, please, Lole.
I just wanted to add something for the preparation thing.
Please.
So, from level 1 for me, an important thing for me, because on the exam, 2 days, a day or the night for the exam, you are just mentally drained, right? Really, you can't look at things. So for me, I don't know, some people write 1-pager summary notes. For me, I don't like writing. Level 3 had to teach me how to write.
Okay.
So I don't like writing a lot. So for me, for level 1 and level 2, level 3, right, I had to use formula sheet. I don't know if you people know it. It's like my summary note. I just, the night before, the morning, instead of holding my book that I've been seeing for months, I just look at the formula sheet. I think Schweizer, FinQuiz have it. Let me not call FinQuiz, because people say FinQuiz is quite hard. Schweizer, right? I just look at those formulas. They do all the stuff. Right? That's what I use. Right?
Oh, okay. I was thrown off for a moment. When I heard you talk about formula sheets, that's the summary sheets that helped, right? Okay, so I got it. So I don't know if you guys have seen the chat. Honestly, I don't want to know. When you guys reach a consensus, let me know. Linda is just smiling. She doesn't know whether she wants to know though. So I have 3 people that want to know. I have one that doesn't want to know. I have one that doesn't know whether she wants to know or she doesn't. But then I'll come back to it. I mean, I'm seeing the engagement, so I'll make up my mind about it. But thank you very much. And before we run away from this question, then guys, I think you should start putting your questions together, because I will take your questions now. They will take your questions now, and we'll just move on. You talked about both of you spoke about the recency bias thing. recency bias thing. You also talked about the mock exams, right? You also talked about the choice of materials, right? There is a way you can get overwhelmed with reading too many materials. I am assuming, this is just an assumption, I am assuming that by level 3, you will have found what exactly makes the difference for you, what works for you, right? By level 3, that's assuming that you found it at level 1 and found it at level 2 as well. I mean, level 3, you have resolved. I know that that's usually a big question in the hearts of level 1 student. We get that question every single time. But I got a beautiful answer the last time I had Abiodun Agbola on this call alongside Busola Jeje. And Abiodun said, you see, while you are trying to figure out whether to use curriculum or Trezor or other prep materials, just even start with the curriculum first. When you now make up your mind, you see, because that's what happens. You spend a lot of time thinking about whether you want to, and then you don't want to. Okay, so there are two people that are indifferent. So it counts for 3 people that are interested. So David, tell us what are those 2 areas?
Oh, just one area because I missed level 2 to 3. It was currency management.
Currency management, okay. Currency management.
Yes.
Okay, guys, the cat is out of the bag. Lorade, what do you think about currency management, though?
See fixed income. I don't remember where I see. Anytime I hear fixed income derivative, it gives me I call it financial engineering. That's what I call it. So that sums it all for you. If I can call financial engineering,
I can imagine that. I can imagine. Well done. Thank you so much. Okay, so guys, we'll start taking your questions now, and thank you so much. We'll take their questions, Davis and Lolade. Then I would ask you one more question, then you will give your parting words for the night. But thus far, I think extreme value has been added, right? Am I correct, audience? You want to let me know. Let's know that value has been added already. And you can start sending your questions. So Davis, you are thoughtful. Currencies. Okay. So don't worry, we are not going. Davis is not going to teach us back thing. We are not learning. We are not following his route. We just needed to hear it for hearing sake. Thank you, Davis. We didn't need the information. You won't put us in trouble. All right, yeah, but absolutely. Okay. Now let's take this question. So, guys, what do you think? It says, what's your advice for typing? Ushe says, what's your advice for typing out solutions or calculations? What do you say?
If I may take that question. So, CFA, gives you some exam day tips, right? So when I was writing level 3, it read, when solving solutions, only the end answer suffices. You can go ahead if you want to show the calculations, but if you just show just the end answer, you are good. And so for me, for most of the calculations, I just put the end answer. I'll solve it in my calculators and just if it's 2.5, I put 2.5. Terminal, I just put terminal and I move on.
You mean you got that from the CFA Institute?
Yes. Exam day.
And I'm sure that a lot of people would ignore that information and be probably buried in their curriculum.
Yes, I didn't even know of it. I didn't even know of it. It was a student at the New Frontiers class, one of my class students that, one of this guy who had over-prepared even before we actually started. So 2 weeks before the exam, he was just giving us things and was just making us scared. And then he gave us this, this important piece of information. When I clicked on it and I looked at it, I was like, wow, this guy just saved me. Yeah, so that's what I did.
Guys, did you know that before now? I mean, this one is a big one for me. I think this is really serious. I mean, Lolade, what do you say?
I think you should even share the link if you can find it, so that people, some people seeing is believing. They see and can believe it, or if Ayo can find the links and share it with the students.
I mean, we have to do that. Davis, they do this just before exams, right?
Davis.
Oh, you're muted though.
I'm looking for the link right now. Yes.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Extreme.
I didn't know that information, but for me, I've always believed in that. Like, really, I can't remember complicated formula, but think of the most complicated formula and they ask you a question on that. How do you type divide on that old keyboard? For me, I just can't. That keyboard was stressful. So for me, it was only the only thing you might not ask is, what does formula help you? So that, CFA likes asking, if this is this, what's the implication of this? That's what formula. How to type out the formula. You can explain. You know what P stands for. You know what Q stands for. Write it out. Price goes. If yield goes up, right? This will be the effect on the price, right? The price will drop. There's a formula. P is equals to A over. But you literally don't have to. As you're writing paper, you could write that out, and that could suffice. But you're not on paper. You're on a laptop or computer. So just explain in one word. If P goes up, there's an inverse relationship between P and this. If this is this, if that's too long, if P goes up, Q goes down. The answer, you're fine. I don't know. It might be more. But I don't believe in. I don't know. The time was short for me. I believed in being accurate than showing that I had skills or smart. I just wanted to pass the exam. I think that's.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Olade. And I remember we had this crackdown session with Prof. Nee. I'm sure you all know Nee. So we had this crackdown session with him, and he was just doing quantitative methods for CFA exam candidates in Nigeria. And so New Frontiers, we put something together for everybody. It's on YouTube, youtube.com/New Frontiers Learning Center. The video is there. It's one of the most watched videos that we have. Nee stated clearly that many of you have come to this meeting with your calculators to do warfare and all that, right? And to grab formulas, and many of you are spending time loading your heads with formulas. And he explained and said, no, that's not what the CFA is trying to do. They are not trying to turn into a formula machine. What they are trying to do is to ensure that you understand these concepts, and that from if you can build this concept yourself ground up, right? We had a fixed income session for industry practitioners with Michael I think 2 weekends ago, and Michael just moved away from his notes and from the beginning and was just explaining from first principles how your formula for simple interest, the principal rate and time divided by 100 and all that, and built up in 4 hours class. That was all he did, explaining to them how this is this and this is this and this is that. So I completely agree. I'm with you. Let's take these questions from Busa. Busa says, how did you get comfortable with one-line answers or even short answers and knowing that you're capturing everything inside? I think we already spoke about that, but you can still mention something around it. He said, did you start practicing even from the reading stage before starting mocks, or did it come naturally? Does anything come naturally though, this CFA thing?
I think so. When you're writing mock, you won't be tempted to write lengthy answers. I had not written 1 or 2 liners before until I got to the exam. I'll be honest. Like, I just, I told you how my exam started. I had lost time trying to grab my stamina and even understand what I was doing here. So I just told myself, the coping strategy for me at that point in time was finish first, come back, then we can build. So when I say one-liner, don't quote me wrong, right? If you can, so you'll be tempted. If you have these questions, you'll be like, let me flesh it up. But the thing is, put a sufficient answer for now to get the minimum score. At least you've got their attention. That's what worked for me anyways. I'm sorry. So finish. Don't stay. Finish. Then when you are done, come back and flesh it up. See, by the time you are done the first time, you realize the speed you have to go the second time. The first time you don't. So it was even when he was talking. I remember that when I was writing my exam, I skipped a lot of questions because I was trying to be fast. I was even afraid, like for 5 questions.
I can't hear anything
back
though.
to back. I think I'm
You're muted from my side. I think you're muted.
so sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
So yeah, I can confidently say I finished most of it. At least the ones I did not finish, I did not know it. I probably just guessed. The ones I could do, I make sure I had enough time. So, but one thing we need to remember is strategy or things work for people differently. The reason why I was able to tell you this is because at the beginning I was shocked. That was my coping strategy for me. So you at the beginning, if you are not shocked, you will not need to deal with it this way. You might be able to confidently type well and finish. But I'm just trying to, I had to tell my story in case something like this happens to you. Just know that, remember, oh, someone was thrown off balance, but she was still able to come back, and she even passed it, good story. So those things just help you. That's why I had to tell the story to help you prompt it that it's a one-off thing, but it happens and it comes out good in the end. So if one liner doesn't sit well with you, work with, if you can be disciplined enough, work with two liners. There's no one rule that fits all. Just work with. But if you're sure that you want to write 2 or 3 lines, make sure you start practicing well in your mocks, please. So that you can be disciplined enough with your time. That's just it for me. I don't know if Davis has more to say to that.
Yeah, Davis, let's have it.
No, that you just said that, what I had in mind.
Thank you. So guys, it's not, so again, it's not, there's a way a student will assume things, a candidate will assume things, but there is what works. And what works is what what you hear from folks who have gone ahead of you on this matter get to say. And I think Davis and Lola, they have done proper justice to that. If you have any other question from the audience, if you want to unmute yourself, you don't want to type, you can speak as well. And if you are able to type, then you type. I will just read out the question, but let's make it a bit snappy. I think that I might be ready to round off this meeting tonight. I think tremendous value has been added.
Quick question.
Okay, please. Hi,
okay, thank you. Quick question, Davis. You said you had
sorry,
about...
able to introduce yourself? You don't mind?
Okay, hi. Sorry, good evening. My name is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Yeah,
I have a question for Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Davis, quick question, please. You said you had about 3 to 4 months to prep for the exam. Can you just give like a quick tip? Because I think we have about the same time right now to the exam date. Just quick tips on, I know you've said a lot, but just like a summary of what helped you to excel in this exam. Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, I had a very clear timetable. I mean, I had to give like 4 to 6 hours daily. Sometimes it was a bit less, because work, there's how work can go, and you don't have the time, or you might not be good in health. So I had a timetable to at least spend 4 to 6 hours, knowing fully well that my weekend was booked with New Frontiers. I also made sure that for me, I read the curriculum. I was highlighting. I mean, the curriculum is not as bulky as level 2, right? But I was highlighting, given that I had just a few months, I wanted to read the curriculum like 4 times. So once I highlight, if I'm coming back to read it again, I'm only reading what I highlighted. And I make sure that I reduce the content of what I've highlighted. So probably the first time I've highlighted, I'll have highlighted 80% of the content. By the second time, I'd have reduced that to 60%. By the third pass, I'd have reduced that to 50%. By the fourth pass, I had that probably reduced each reading of the curriculum to just about 20%, so that it was easy for me to actually read. Then I went to Schweizer by October, because my exam was in November. By October, I then went to Schweizer, and I read Schweizer just once, highlighting only critical parts. I made sure to solve all the questions in Schweizer, and I made sure to solve all the questions in the CFA curriculum. I wanted to be done with everything reading by October 31, as well as anything classes by October 31. I was not done by then. So it meant that I wasn't able to finish all the candidate resources. I think there were about 1,000 something questions, but I wanted to finish everything. So in November, I decided, I took a hard decision to start solving the LOS, all the questions, the mocks and the questions in the candidate resources. That's what I spent. During this period, there's how you read something and then there's how the question comes and then you realize that, oh, this question has helped you to tie the knots. It is for those very, very specific circumstances that I now crafted what I call like a summary note. So my summary note was just like a pager, it was just like a pager. By the time I was about writing the CFA exam for level 3, guys, I was so sure of myself because I had spent 2 weeks only on questions. There was virtually no question that would come out that I would not even, in fact, before I even get to the answer, I'll say, oh, this is where this, this is heading to. And I realized that CFA repeats some of those questions in the objectives, section. So that was how he helped me. He helped me for currency management, right? I skipped it. It was the last week of exam. I think someone shared with me some video by one. I'm trying to remember this guy's name, but I can't remember. Is it IFT or so? Someone shared with me some videos by one guy that does IFT program. So on that last week, I just like opened the video to see what was there on currency. But by and large, it really didn't help. What I had done was to cement myself being a subject matter expert in everything level 3 aside from currency, such that when I went into the exam hall, I saw any question on currency, I just skipped it. I only skipped a total of 4 questions. I still remember till date, and I came out of the exam hall. Yes, as Lolade said, one liner. The reason I've stressed one liner is for what Lolade said. There's a temptation, so it's good to you might have 2 lines, you might have 3 lines. But we stress one liner because some of us have the temptation on exam day. We just forget everything that we have planned and we just say that we are writing, 6 lines, 10 lines, and so on. So just keep it short, straightforward, short. Again, if the question, like I said, if the question asks you for 2 reasons, and you are sure about 1 reason, but you're not sure about 3, the other, where is this thing coming from? But I did on exam day. In my one liner, I'll make sure that I put 2 reasons there. In the other one liner, I'll make sure that so even though I have written 2 sentences, all my 4 reasons are there. I left it to the CFA examiner to choose which one was the correct one. Because I was told that they will not. Once they see that you have captured the right things in what I've written, that's what they mark. So that's what I. Thanks.
In fact, Davis, thank you so much. Linda, I'm sure you are satisfied. And the way Lolade is smiling at you, it looks like, man, I will not take this one. I will not take this gamble. Right. But then, again, it's how these things, there will be some common denominators. And even, I like the balance. I like the mix. I think Obafemi had done an excellent work selecting both of you tonight. I like the mix, I like the balance, but there are some common denominators. The one-liners run across, right? Both of you have attested to that. The mock exams, solving questions, right? Getting in that exam mode before exam day, clearly. So again, there will be some similarities, right? Even though our personalities will be different when it comes to the optimal strategies that help us pass the exam, but ultimately we would agree on some of these things. And I think those things that we have spoken about tonight are the values, right, that we've communicated. They are the values that we've passed across to one another tonight. So I think that it's it's a good place to say that we've learned a lot tonight. Even does anyone else have a question? I can take it. In the meantime, I was going to ask you about I can talk about that after now. So let me ask you for your final words, right, Lolade? If you are going to talk to a CFA candidate level, somebody meets you somewhere, says, hello, what do you do? This. Okay. Oh, you're a CFA charter holder? Yes. Okay, I'm writing the CFA level 3. What advice do you have for me? What would you say? So your parting words tonight.
Do not be afraid, hard work is always rewarded. Just do the work and you'll be fine.
All right. Thank you very much, Lolade. Thank you. Davis, what would you say? Okay, someone asking a question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll come to your parting words, David. I mean, so you'll close the meeting. Okay, so your name and your question, please.
Okay, I'm sure Tombukola. Okay, but in my case, it's CFA level 1, CFA level 1. I just saw the stuff on your website, fair to join. Is it possible to get any advice for CFA level 1?
Oh, absolutely. You're speaking to veterans, so I'm sure they are more than glad to help. So Davis, Lolade, a level 1 candidate, find our way to your level 3 room. Yeah. Okay, Lolade. All right, Lolade, please help.
Okay, for the one, we were talking about something earlier. You said that resource, in fact, you mentioned one important point earlier, that instead of researching, because level 1, there's a lot of research. What do I do? Do I go to classes? Do I do a lot of, there are a lot of questions. You're just starting, but there's very, very important questions. The time you waste in doing research on what is reasonable, allowable, because this same exam, there are a lot of material. This same exam, there are a lot of opinions. This same exam, there are a lot of forums. So instead of wasting time doing research and going everywhere, you wasted 1 month, right? So the best advice I would give you, right, if you've not started or if you're even start like this. So it's when you start with the curriculum. The trick is, if it's when you start the curriculum, you will know what you are tilted. If you like the curriculum, you will know. If you don't like it, you will know. I won't lie to you. You will know. You will know. If you're someone that doesn't like to read bulky things, because the curriculum, what the curriculum does, if you don't have something can't keep your attention for long, you lose focus with the curriculum. Because just to explain one point, the curriculum is very bad. Schweizer will put it in 2 or 3 liners, just a point, But the good thing about the curriculum, by the time the curriculum gives you the build-up, by the time you get to conclusion, you understand the reasoning behind it, right? They're not telling you a boy is a boy, they're giving you why a boy is a boy. That's what the curriculum is doing for you. So by the time you see a boy, you know what a boy is. Do you get it? It's quite expensive, right? But that's what it does. So too much, don't waste time on materials or too many things, right? Just start with one. By the time you start, you will know where your strength lies. So from there, at least you're now making an informed research on it. You're not just walking haphazardly, going to everything you get. So, and a very important thing, I guess, is you have to be, because it's the first time, and most times it's best to get it right. Hard work, read. And that exam is I call it a jealous lover, right? It's a jealous lover.
Yeah. Very true.
It doesn't like to share time with you. So if you are going to classes, imagine you go to classes weekends, your weekdays are weekdays. You literally have no time to have fun. Friday night in class. I don't know if you do Friday night, but then Friday night in class, Saturday in class, Sunday in class, Sunday in class. You are reading. So the jealous lover, just do the hard work, right? And focus. I think that's what I can say. I really don't know much on that. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lolade. Okay, so were you satisfied? Have we answered your questions? Are you good?
Yes, then this exam is CBT, right?
Yes, it is. Okay, so don't worry. So let me do something quickly. So it's this meeting will wrap up at 7:45 anyway. So just let me do this quickly. So there's something I should do quickly, guys, if you do not mind. If you have any questions, you can still drop them. We'll wrap up at 7:45. But then let me do this quickly, just so that someone like these and others can benefit. So please just listen to this, please. If you do not mind, just in 10 minutes, I should be done with this. Okay, please confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, okay, cool. I see the note. Okay, cool. All right then. So this is us tonight. So this is a review from one of our candidates, Amisale, who says New Frontiers is the best tuition center for the CFA program in the country. You get to learn under the tutelage of some of the best finance minds in Nigeria, who are CFA charter holders, presenting you with an awesome mentorship opportunity. New Frontiers provides you with a great networking opportunity with fellow professionals in the industry as well. Additionally, with New Frontiers hybrid lectures, location is no barrier, as you can always join classes in person or online, and recorded sessions are available on demand. New Frontiers is certainly the best decision I've made as a candidate. This is our story with New Frontiers. It's one born out of a compelling desire to help ease the journey of every CFA candidate in the country and outside the country now. Our founders went through this journey with little or no support of any kind. However, to turn into reality the dreams of every CFA candidate, who, whether they have a finance background or not, right? And it's been about 13 years of pursuing this vision. Impact has been about 3,000 people have experienced or have been impacted by this vision, and they are revolutionaries in various markets of the world, right? These are our founders, Ayokunle Ojo, Michael Ayima, Niyo Gumbayo, and Banji Feintola. Okay, so New Frontiers, why? World-class faculty of leading investment professionals. We've been doing this for over 12 years, 13 years now. We have scholarships and faculty prizes and discounts and special offers we give our candidates. There are class assignments, there are tests, mock exams to reinforce classes. There is a no pass, no pay policy, of course, with terms and conditions applied. And there is a candidate support program we have, just like the ones we are running tonight, and job and career opportunities that are shared on our network as well, right? Within the finance and investment space. So you need to figure out what program fits you. There is a regular program, there's a quick review program. The executive program, I'm not talking so much about it tonight, but either of these programs you choose, you can attend them whether as live or as recorded self-paced programs. Our regular program, 16 weekends, which is probably the one that Lolade and Davis attended. Quick review program, 16 weekends. Friday evenings like this, Saturday and Sundays, and of course on public holidays. Fridays at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Lecture notes, mock exams and tests, hybrid program, physical and online, and access to class recordings, and of course network community. There's a quick review program that happens in 1 month. Weekends of that 1 month, you can join us for classes, and of course, same Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, 6:30 p.m., Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Of course, same benefits, lecture notes, mock exams, hybrid, and all that. So it's an abridged version of the regular program for those who can't be in the room for 16 weekends. Now, if you're talking about New Frontiers, then this is where we are right now. We're in the April to July session, which is the part going on with the regular program. By July, the program that is ongoing right now, which is the only level 3 program, comes to an end. And then we kick off July to October for level 1 and 2 for our regular program. There will be a quick review in July for level 3, and there will be a quick review in October for level 1 and 2. This information is, of course, available on our website as well, newfrontierslearning.com. Or you can watch this video again on youtube.com/New Frontiers Learning Center. Our quick review program is going to happen in August for 1 month, weekend classes, 1 month of intensive weekends, where we share quick tips, quick win tips and all that. You have 100% access to all class recordings, and it's going to happen from July 1st till the end of the month towards the August exams. Our level 1 and 2 classes starting in in July, forgive me, for the November and February exams. So start date is 1st of July 2023. So if you're planning to join our program for level 1 and 2, this is the way to go. Just as we've had a talk on level 3 today, we have a more appropriate one for level 1 and 2 next week, where we're going to be learning the practical tips and strategies for passing the CFA exams. And we have two guests who will be speaking with me, Ayodeji Ayola and Opeyemi Oladejo, for that next weekend. It's going to be an impactful time. So I look forward to receiving you there. Pardon me. Our reviews, of course, this is another one from Busola Jeje. She said that her experience was extremely awesome. The CFA journey was super tough, but it is super tough. But she says, I had a community and people to go with. The teachers were so awesome. It was a lovely experience that I used the center for all 3 levels of my exams. I'm really advising you to join New Frontiers Learning today. Sola JJ is portfolio manager at Cowrywise. All right, so if you intend to talk to any one of us, this is the number to call or send a WhatsApp chat to Bafemi and Isiaka. They are the most responsive people in the world, trust me. Whatever you send to them, you'll get a response. There's no more responsive team than these guys. You just test them, you will see what I'm talking about. I mean, Davis can tell you, he knows it is as well, and Lolade as well can attest to it, right? So, but this is it. newfrontierslearning.com/enroll. You can fill out a form. Somebody will get back to you from there, or follow us on LinkedIn as it were. But again, this is how to reach out to us. You can take a screenshot of this page, and again, you can check it on our website. These contacts are there, and we'll have a good time. So, bringing the meeting to a wrap, to a close tonight. It's been a wonderful time. I'm going to take. I didn't see any other question. So, Davis, your own parting words tonight. What do you say to that level 3 candidate who is preparing?
Okay, the first thing I'll say is, wow. So you passed level 2. I mean, for me, that's the most difficult part of the journey. I mean, so just yourself, you'll soon become a CFA charter holder. That's enough motivation. I would advise you to read, spend your money. You have already spent so much trying to register for level 3. If you need additional support, maybe a tutorial firm, spend your money, join New Frontiers. If you need videos, spend your money, go get them, right? Anything that will enable you, to prepare for the level 3 exam, just spend your money. Then I'll advise you also to solve. For those that are working, if you can, plan your vacation such that you have 2 weeks, 2 weeks before your exam day. It's by no means the answer. I'm just saying, for me, that's what I did. Have that 2 weeks just before exam, so you are not bothered with anything work. You have no other, serious commitments, and let your family and friends know in advance that you're writing one of the most difficult exams in the world. Let them know. Exam, CFA, very difficult exam. Let them know. You may have certain, but let them know. Emphasize that exam is difficult, and that for 2 weeks, these guys know. In 2 weeks, please, I've told you guys, in 2 weeks, you might not really see me for some of these functions and so on. So for 2 weeks, you will essentially be in ghost mode. So instead of dedicating like 4 hours daily, you might now dedicate like 10 hours. For me, that 2 weeks, I spend it solving, in fact, if possible, all the candidate resource questions, right? Or solve. Read hard, play hard, but solve. Solve. And that's what I'll tell you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tremendous value tonight. Thank you, Davis, for agreeing to do this with us. It's interesting, and I always share your story. I remember you met your teachers for the first time when we had the party we had with candidates in level 3 who had just passed in February. You said that was the first time you were seeing me, Michael, and the rest of them. And I always share your example of how you have mentioned that the greatest value that you get from New Frontiers is in interacting with these teachers, with faculty outside the 4 walls of the classroom. There's just so much you can do within the 4 hours or whatever it is that they are spending teaching you, but the time you interact with them after, it's always a great time. Thank you so much, Davis, for coming tonight. And Lolade, we are most grateful. Thank you so much. I perceive you are still at work just to attend this webinar. Thank you so much for doing that extra for us. It sure means a lot. And to our audience, thank you guys for joining tonight. I'll be seeing those of you who are physically in school tomorrow. Those of you who are online, set your alarms. Don't sleep off. Classes, you have a busy weekend. I saw your timetable, and I do not envy you at all, right? But so don't worry, in a few weeks you'll have your life back, and it's just going to be success stories. And it will be your turn to come and share your experiences as well with others. I hope when I call you, you guys are going to answer. All right. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. Thank you, Davis. Thank you, Lolade. We can't thank you enough, and I will still be reaching out to you on a personal note. Thank you so much for doing this tonight. Good night, everyone. And you can, of course, you would get emails immediately after now on how to access it. But as soon as we drop this call, the videos will be readily accessible on youtube.com/New Frontiers Learning Center, www.youtube.com/New Frontiers Learning Center. And you can watch this over and over again, share with as many people you think would get value from it, or refer to anything you think you missed out on tonight. Thank you very much for joining, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless you.
Yeah, bye. God bless. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Lolade.
You're welcome.
However, they vow to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate earning the CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance, and non-finance alike. It is this commitment to support our candidates that influences our engagement of a world-class faculty, partnerships, scholarship and discount offers, our online learning management system, and so much more. Our clients' outstanding results across all levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today.